You ever see someone throw a life preserver right into quicksand? That's what credit feels like when you're already drowning in debt. It looks like a rescue, but it pulls you under faster. By the time you realize it, the bank's already slammed the door shut and left you holding the bag. I've seen it, Steve's seen it, and maybe you're living it right now. Hey there, friends, it's Damon Day here, the new Get Out of Debt guy. Steve, the original Get Out of Debt guy, well, he's off today helping someone untangle a real financial mess. So it's just you and me. But don't worry, Steve and I talk pretty much every day. He's been my mentor for a number of years, and yeah, we still swap war stories and brainstorm how to help folks like you find a better path. So, if you're back for another episode, welcome back. Seriously, it means a lot that you're here. And if this is your first time joining us, hit that subscribe button and give this show a little love. It helps other folks discover it too. And if this is already hitting home for you, boop that like button and give this a little love. It helps more people find this message. And don't forget, if you've got a question or you're feeling stuck, head over to damonday.com. You can reach me directly over there. So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt strangely relieved when you found out your credit card limit got raised? Or maybe the bank sent you one of those "you're pre-approved" letters, and for a second you felt like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not doing so bad after all. Yeah, I've been there. It feels like you're being handed a little bit of breathing room. But here's the gut punch truth. That relief, it's a lie. That breathing room, it's not a window opening, it's a trap door under your feet. Let me tell you about someone I worked with a while back. We're going to call him Mike. Mike was smart, successful on paper, and drowning in debt. But you'd never know it by looking at him. He had access to over $100,000 in available credit between personal lines, credit cards, and business accounts. Anytime a payment got tight, he'd just juggle. Move a balance here, take a cash advance there, use a new 0% promo over here. He had a successful business, drove a nice car, took vacations, and carried $100,000 in credit he never thought he'd touch. But one day, Mike didn't get another offer in the mail. The card stopped swiping, and the calls started. The illusion was gone. Mike wasn't thriving. He was borrowing against a life he couldn't afford. And now, the rest of the story. The banks closed the doors. No new offers. Credit limits dropped. And Mike? He was left with zero access and 6 figures of debt. Not a dime saved to deal with it. See, when you're in debt, you have a ton of available credit. It can feel like you've still got options, like you're not really in trouble yet. But that illusion keeps you from making hard, necessary decisions. Let me break it down. You don't budget because you've got available credit. You don't cut spending because you can float it another month. You don't look for real solutions because things, they just aren't urgent yet. But here's the catch. By the time you feel the urgency, it's too late. You've already drained the resources you could have used to fix things. And here's the thing most people miss. When you feel like you can drag your feet and delay dealing with debt, that's typically when you have a bunch of good options to choose from. You're not up against the wall yet. That's when the solutions are plentiful, less painful, and more empowering. But if you wait until you feel trapped or cornered, most of those good choices are already gone. You end up settling for what's left, and you're just not going to be as happy. So act fast. Choose happiness. Choose solutions. Don't be a financial martyr. Now, here's the wild part. Steve and I had both had clients reach out to us for help and then just disappear. Not for a week, not for a month, for 10 years. They got the advice, they understood the risk, but they told themselves, I'll wait until it gets really bad, or I think I can just fix it on my own. By the time they reached back out, their credit was trashed, their options were fewer, and they had spent a decade living in stress and shame. I'm not even going to talk about all that money wasted on interest. That's like saying you won't go to the doctor for that infection until it has almost killed you. You could have taken the antibiotics and walked out just fine, but you waited until amputation was on the table. I don't want that for you. So let's talk about this. Why do smart, capable people delay good solutions until things get really bad? There's a few big reasons, and they're all totally human. One, shame. If you think getting help means admitting failure, you're going to put it off. You don't want anyone to know, not your partner, not your friends, really not even yourself. Two, fear of the unknown. People would rather stay in a bad situation they understand than step out into the unknown, even if that unknown could make life better. Three, the hope, hang on. Next month will be better. If I just get that bonus. We convince ourselves that the worst is behind us and that if we can just push through, we won't need help until we do. Four, decision fatigue. When you're juggling bills, dodging creditors, and robbing Peter to pay Paul every week, even thinking about solutions takes energy that you don't have, so you just freeze. But here's the thing. None of those reasons change the math. They just delay the pain. And they shrink the number of tools you'll have when, not if, you finally decide to act. Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a sinking boat. Water's pouring in, but instead of plugging the leak, someone hands you a bucket and says, "Here, just scoop faster." That's too much credit access. It keeps you busy, reacting, bailing, but you never fix the leak, and eventually your arms just give out. Or maybe it's more like setting your house on fire to keep warm for the night. Sure, it's going to buy you some comfort right now, but what happens when the house is gone? By the time people call us again, the house isn't just smoking, it's ashes. So act while you still have leverage. Here's the Damon wake-up list. If you're listening right now and you haven't hit rock bottom yet, great. That's your power. Because when you act early, here's what's still on the table. You can still refinance or consolidate before your credit tanks. Lenders close the door once you're behind. You can still build a plan to negotiate strategically because you're not in crisis mode yet. While most creditors won't negotiate until you're behind, acting now lets you get organized and intentional instead of reacting from a place of panic. You can file bankruptcy strategically when it does the most good and leaves you better off, not when you're clawing for survival. You can stop throwing good money after bad and start funneling cash into savings, not minimum payments that aren't helping. You can still plan your exit, not just your escape. There is a big difference. Because here's what we see all the time. The longer you wait, the fewer the options. The worse the terms, the higher the emotional cost. If Mike or any of those 10-year ghosters had followed through, here's what I would have said. Pause the spending. Don't let access to credit trick you into thinking things are okay. Assess the damage. What do you actually owe, and what do you really bring in? Make a plan, a real one. Maybe that's restructuring, maybe it's settlement, maybe it's even bankruptcy, but it's forward motion, not credit juggling. And here's the big one. Don't waste your lifeline pretending you don't need one. What are you holding on to? A lot of folks keep juggling debt because they're scared. Scared of what it means to admit there's a problem. Scared of being judged. Scared of losing control. But let me tell you something I've learned, especially from Steve. The moment you admit you need help, that is the moment you start taking control. And I've lived through the debt panic myself. It's a feeling I've never forgotten. That 2 a.m. anxiety, that how did I let it get this far moment? Yeah, I've been there. But that moment isn't the end. It's the beginning of something better if you let it be. Too much access to borrowed money isn't safety. It's seduction. It whispers, "You're fine," while your financial health is quietly bleeding out. Use your options wisely and don't wait until they vanish to ask for help. And if you're not sure what help looks like, start with a debt coach, not a commissioned sales rep. A real coach will help you understand your situation and what makes the most sense, not what makes them the most money. Let me leave you with one last question. What are you sacrificing by pretending you're not in trouble yet? So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this helps shift something inside of you, even just a little. If you're feeling stuck, don't go it alone. Reach out, ask questions, take action, and remember, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, it's free to subscribe, hit the like button, or tell someone about it. It'll help me, and it'll help you too, and I love win-win outcomes. And when you hit that like button, it tells the algorithm that this was worth listening to, and that helps more folks find their way here. Until next time, peace.
Got a money question keeping you up at night? Well, don't just Google it. Get real answers from real people who actually know what they're talking about. Head to getoutofdebt.org/podcast to ask your question, and you might hear it on an upcoming episode. But hey, if you'd rather keep it private, Damon Day has your back. Visit DAMONDAY.com because getting out of debt is easier with the right help. That's getoutofdebt.org/podcast, where smart money questions lead to smarter money moves.